With another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Hello, Michael. And don't forget to subscribe. Oh, I've already said that one. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you like it. But yes, please subscribe. That would be awesome. So in today's episode, I want to talk to you about the final day of the asexual meetup and to give you an update on Angel. So today, I am on my bed, by the way. So if the iPad moves around, you know why. So basically, today was a final day of the asexual meetup. Now, I was just meeting one person today. So basically, on Friday, I met up with one person, which was Sam, and we had an amazing time. And then on Saturday, I ended up meeting up. There was a total of 7 of us. And for the actual asexual meetup official day on Sunday, there were 7 of us. And on Monday, there was 4, including me. And today, which is Tuesday, there was just one person left in my city who came all the way from Brighton to Exeter. And that is a fair trek. They came on the train, I believe, and they went home on the coach. So, yeah, it's been absolutely fabulous few days. Obviously, it's been mixed emotions in the sense that Chestnut died on Thursday. Her and Angel went in for the same operation to be done, which was to remove ovarian cysts. And Chestnut, unfortunately, died. And Angel, I've still got. Thank goodness I didn't lose them both. So today, I saw one guy. Could only see him for just less than an hour. Asexual guy. Who was the final guy left in the whole bunch of us. And I met him at the bus station just before, it was going to be an hour before I went to meet my parents at the vets to go have a checkup with Angel. But the thing is, something happened, which is why I'm a bit hesitant when I'm talking at the moment, that really distressed me. So I went to go to the bus station because we agreed to meet at the bus station cafe. And as I walked across the road, like minding my own business, there was 2 buses, because obviously it's a bus station. There was 2 buses that were at the end of the road before you cross to actually get into the bus station itself. And once the 2 buses had gone by, I was absolutely shocked at what they left behind. And so was this other girl. And basically there was a pigeon and they chopped off its wing because they'd run it over, broke its neck and broke one of its legs. And it was like literally it was fully alive still, but it was like horrible. It was like on its side and just in the middle of the road. There was no other cars coming or buses or anything. And this girl and me both looked at each other horrified. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. And this girl's face was completely shocked because she was going she was going away from the bus station towards me and I was going into the bus station towards her. And then we saw this pigeon. It was just awful. I mean, awful. I love animals and birds. It was just dreadful. And I didn't know what to do. And I thought, I've got to pick it up out of the road. I can't leave it there. But obviously it's going to be in loads of pain and severely ill from all that trauma. And it's likely to die, but I didn't know what else to do. And I thought, so I don't really know how I did it, but I scooped it up and I found a place which was between 2 buildings, which was like a triangle shape, and put it against the wall there, on the floor. So it had 2 walls, like either side in a triangle shape, so no one would step on it. And, I hope to shelter it from the wind a bit. But literally, it was just dying. It was horrible, It was like in so much pain, and I couldn't do anything to help it. And it was like, its neck was broken, but it was still moving it like that. And it was awful, awful. I didn't know what to do. It's supposed to be meeting this guy. And so I rested it down. There was nothing I could do for it. So I left it, but I didn't want to leave it. because I didn't know what else to do. And luckily, like I said, I moved it out of the way, and it was horrible because as I crossed the road, I saw its mouth open like that, and it was like gasping for breath, and it was so horrible. And I went over to see the person in the cafe. They weren't there, and I thought about like where I should go up to them and ask them to phone the RSPCA, and then in the cafe, and then I thought, oh, I better go back across the road to see what state it's in. So I went out of the cafe again and went across the road, and I saw it, and it was horrible. It was lifting its neck up like this, and I was trying to call the RSPCA, and then I was stroking it, and it died as I was stroking it. So at least, obviously, I was there for its last breath. So it just like wobbled its head in the end and tucked its head right under its body, and that was it. But I was so distressed. I mean, I was so upset because obviously my chestnut guinea pig died on Thursday. It's kind of like flashing back to that because obviously it's still quite raw in my mind what happened with chestnut. And then I've got to deal with that, which is a dying pigeon. I don't understand that. What don't you understand, Michael? That the bus ran it over or what? What don't you understand, Michael? What haven't I explained? Basically, the two buses coming out of the bus actual station ran it over with their wheels, and well, at least one of them did. So the two buses were already there, and I went to cross the road, but the buses were already there, so I couldn't cross. You say they intentionally broke its neck and chopped its wings off. I didn't say it was intentional. I said they did it. I don't know if they knew the pigeon was there. So basically, when I came out of the, I don't know if they intentionally saw it or not. I don't know. But my mum, when I told my mum tonight, because I went to see my parents after Chestnut went to the vets, which I'm going to tell you about, my mum said that we lived next to a farm, which I know we did growing up, and the farmer purposely drove over the ducks in the farm, and he did that on purpose, knowing they would die. And the farmer's wife, my mum said something to the farmer's wife, and the farmer's wife go, oh, there's not much meat on that to eat anyway, is there? I mean, how disgusting is that? But that was what my mum was saying to try and relate to the situation I was in today. So I don't know if the bus drivers knew it was there or not. But to be honest, if they were looking out in the middle of the road, surely they would have seen the pigeon. Do you know what I mean? When you're driving, you tend to look at the road, do you not? From what I know. So I don't know whether they intentionally did it or what the heck they did, but it was just disgusting. The buses were already there, you see. So I didn't know the pigeon was underneath the buses, and neither did this other girl. The bus, it's really hard to describe on a YouTube thing, but basically there's a whole bus depot, and the buses, I don't know how to describe it. There's a big bus depot, and the buses come round out of it, and then there's like a road that they go off. They go off on this, so it's like the bus depot's there, and the bus comes around there and then drives off there, if you know what I mean. It's really difficult to describe on a YouTube video without sketching it out. So basically, two buses were coming out of the bus depot, and they were already out. They were stopping at the traffic lights, but they were just about to take off. So I couldn't walk across the road because the lights were changing. This girl was coming towards me to go up the high street. Well, up up Paris Street, it's called, onto the high street, because that's where the bus station is. And as she came one way, I came the other. Before that happened, the two buses, they actually went off and left so we could cross. The traffic lights changed. They went off to, like where they've got to go on the road. And me and this, exactly, Heather. And me and this girl, the girl was crossing towards me, I was crossing her, and she was shocked and horrified. I can tell you, she was like this, do you know what I mean? And I was like, what the heck do I do? And literally it was on its side because it clipped its wing off. It had the bones bit of its wing, like underneath, it was like chopped off on the road. And like its leg was splayed out, it broke its leg, its neck, it was like this, but it was like still had full eyes, still had a head, and then it went like that. And it's like splayed, it's like splayed out to the side, so it's like on its side like this, with like its wing. It's really difficult to sort of, like do it. But basically its wing was over itself. I can't even do it. And then, its head was going like this, isn't, and it had its wing chopped off, it had wings down here, and it's like splayed out, an angle. It's like, lopsided, if you know what I mean, because it had cut its wing off. I mean, how much pain it must have been in. Horrendous. So when I picked up, it was awful, because I was shaking a little bit, and I didn't know what to do, because it's like, how can you see an animal in pain like that? And it was going, ugh, like this, and then it was going, like as I crossed the road. But I went back, at least I was there for the last little bit to give it its final stroke, so it died knowing it was loved. Do you know what I mean? It's better than it dying completely alone. It's just awful. And then when the guy, I messaged the guy, I actually phoned him up, and then I tried to text message him, the asexual guy that was supposed to be meeting, because I didn't know where he was and I was in a right state, and he phoned me back, and I was like crying and shocked and a bit like panicky. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, I was trying to blurt out what had happened, and he's like, "Oh, go in the cafe and have a drink or something." I'm like, "Well, I'd rather, as I'm crying, just stand outside against the wall here for a minute to calm down, because I was just so upset. I was crying, I was kind of like a bit panicky, attacky, and shaking, and I wasn't in a very good way, really. I knew I'd be all right, but it's just not nice, It's distressing. It's horrible. And so anyway, I phoned my mum up, and then the guy said he was running late, and then I phoned my mum up, and I was talking to her, and that helped calm me down a bit. And my dad I spoke to first, and my dad goes, "Oh, these things happen or something, like it's life." And my dad's not very sympathetic with stuff like that. And then I said, "Can you just put mum on, please?" And like put mum on, and she was not much sympathetic about it. And she was just starting to talk about a dead horse from years ago that no one bothered with, and it died, and no one seemed to care, but it was already dead. And and then the asexual guy turned up and was across the road, so I met him then, and then we ended up in a different cafe anyway, nearer his bus that was going home. And it was nice to talk to him because it calmed me down a bit. And then I went off, walked up to my vet's, because my parents were meeting me at the vet's, because from where I dropped the asexual guy off to go on it back on his coach, the vet's wasn't far from there, so I just walked up the road, so I got there before Angel and my parents did. And I was trying to ask the receptionist what actually happened with Chestnut and stuff like that, because the timings don't actually add up. So, do you know what I mean? She goes, "Oh, I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell you." So I don't actually totally know what happened with Chestnut. From what she was saying, and the head vet was saying that she was actually alive for 4 hours or something, and then eating, drinking, walking, and then that's when the woman on reception actually today noticed. She was the one who noticed Chestnut was bleeding and said something, and then that's when the other vet opened her up. But it doesn't make sense, because when they opened her up for the second time, it was like 5:30 when I phoned them, and that's when they were doing the op. But we didn't get out of the surgery till gone 8, and that means Chestnut would have been dying for like 2.5, 3 hours. That is what's so sad, and she bled to death because the vet confirmed she bled to death. So do you see what I mean? It looks like she was like bleeding for 3.5 hours before she died or something. It's just 2.5 to 3 hours or whatever. Well, from 5:30 to 8, how many hours is that? Can't even think. 2.5 hours or more, because we didn't get back to my parents till 9 nearly, and she was warm. She wasn't really. She'd only just died by the feel of it, and she was warm and soft, her body. So I don't know what went on there. There's something a bit strange, but there's no point in, like, really, you can't. I'm never gonna know the answers totally, but it just seems that yeah, it seems that she probably was dying for quite a long time, I think, which is a worrying. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's gone. It's gone. It's happened, isn't it? There's nothing I can do. Anyway, I went to the vets, and Angel, it was good. He felt all around her stitches, and he actually felt her like bladder area. He said that was fine. He weighed her, but she weighs less now. She was 118. And I think is it grams? 118 grams, I think it is. I'm not very good with measurements. And it was 118, and she's 111 now. But yeah, what was really strange is that he said that the two lumps he removed in Angel was bigger than Chestnut's, but obviously Angel survived. But he said one was the size of a 5p piece and one was the size of a golf ball. And that is why Angel has got cut, had to be cut and stitched up all the way up to her chest. Because literally the stitches go right from all across her belly up to her chest near her lungs. That's why it's such a delicate operation for guinea pig salmon. Yeah, he said one was the size of a 5p piece, the other the size of a golf ball, and they have to literally open up the guinea pig that much to get the lump out of the cyst out of the cavity that it's in. They can't get it out in a way, it has to pass through it. So that's why it's such a major operation for a guinea pig, you know? So anyway, so he tested us, he looked at her stitches and everything, he said that she's healing well, and also the blood glucose, because when she was rushed in on Sunday, I don't know if you watched Sunday's episode, but I know Michael you did, but when she was rushed in on Sunday, she was rushed in for emergency vets. Angel was, because she had some bleeding. Like my mum took her out to do the insulin injection, and there's a pool of blood on the towel, so that's when my mum rushed her into emergency vets, so that the bleeding stopped. It wasn't going for long. And when they got to the vets, they couldn't really find it. They ultrasounded her, but there's no pockets of blood inside her. So my mum suspects maybe it was coming out in the urine. But even if it did, it's still internal bleeding. It's not good. Because obviously, I'm worried now. And so is my mum all the time, in case anything happens. Because she had the operation the same day as Chestnut before Chestnut did on the Thursday. And it was Sunday that she started bleeding. So it's just really not great, But I mean, obviously it's a good sign today when the vet said, yeah, she's doing fine. But her blood glucose is getting back up higher again. So he said she's got to go back next week for another blood test to find out if she needs to go back on the insulin permanently, or, the full dose, or whether she needs a reduction in dose. But he said what's probably happened is, with the anaesthetic and the operation, it can upset the diabetics stuff. So that might be why her blood sugar was low. Because on Sunday, even though the blood stopped before my mum actually took her, got her in the surgery, which I'm really grateful to my mum to do, her blood glucose was really severely low. And, guinea pigs can die from high blood glucose or really, really low blood glucose. So it was a good job we took her in, and my mum took her in, really. I got a taxi there. So, I mean, Angel, so like tonight, I went to my parents. Well, I went to my parents after the vets today. I spent some time with Angel. I didn't really have her. I gave her a cuddle before I put her back in a cage, but I didn't really want to disturb her in a cage so much. But I was trying to stroke her in a cage, and and everything was going, everything was going fairly good. But then Angel decided she wanted to try and bite her stomach, which is where her stitches were, and I had to tell her, no, don't do that. Because, with stitches with guinea pigs, they've got 10 days before they're out of the danger zone. So it's only been since Thursday, partway through Thursday. So she's got till this Sunday before she's Monday she'll be in the clear from any, in case she pulls the stitches, should be in the clear from Monday next week onwards of, not being able to rip herself back open again. But there's always a danger if they rip those stitches. I mean, that's they start bleeding again. So it's just like, it's very worrying, But I mean, she was very quiet today, and then later on, tonight she came out and was eating lots and drinking and playing at too. But me and my mum were talking about Chestnut, and all of a sudden she started getting really squeaking, like she was looking for Chestnut, couldn't find her, and she was a bit upset. It's like because she was squeaking for food earlier, which is what she naturally does every time you rattle a packet or anything like that. But then this particular time, because we were talking about Chestnut, yeah, she started squeaking like she was looking for Chestnut, a bit in distress. So I had to stop using the word Chestnut and just use the word C. So when I was talking to my mum, I actually used the word C, obviously, which means chestnut, because it's C for the chestnut. So, and then my mum put some spinach in to forget about what we were talking about, which seemed to work quite well to distract her mind. So, yeah. So at the moment, she's not on insulin, but she's got to go back next week for an assessment. So she's got a little bit of a break from it anyway, but she's likely to go back on it. which I'm quite pleased she's got a break, because obviously she's got so much other stuff going on with her body at the moment. I think the last thing she wants to do is have a needle stuck in her as well. I mean, she's obviously had to have needles in the operation. So I just really wanted to give you an update about what's happening. But, it's been a mixed bag of days. I had the pigeon distress. I mean, I did tell someone at the vets, like one of the other vets said to me, in reception when she saw me, she said, "Oh, how are you?" And I said, "Well, how are you today?" And I said, "Well, I've told them about a pigeon." And she's like, "Well, that must have been distressing for you." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it really was, because it was in the same, it's in pain. What am I supposed to do? It's just horrible. It's absolutely horrible." She said basically she would find it distressing as well. So, she said, "I think I would as well," or something, find that, you know. So, yeah, so that's the update, really. I just thought this is a different type of video to what I usually post. Like, I'm giving out quite a lot of advice quite a lot of the time, but, this is like, a difficult time for me. And, I did meet up with an asexual friend, but it was for less than an hour in the end. But, it's hard because obviously when you're an organizer, you have to be as professional as possible. But, I'm only human. And with me, when I organize, I don't hide the fact that I do have some anxiety still myself. And also, like I can't, like I did have a panic attack when I first tried to inject Angel and couldn't do it at the vets, which is why she stays with my mum and dad now. Because I have a fear of blood and needles. I did attempt it, it's not like I didn't even try it. I put the needle in her skin. So, but it was just like, oh, so I don't hide the fact that I get panicky sometimes. I didn't used to get many panic attacks, but occasionally I can do. But, like with today, it was very traumatic for me, and I just like, I'm just authentic to who I am. I said to this guy, I said, this asexual guy, that I am, I do get upset about things like this. I am a sensitive girl. I can't help it. And I'm proud that I'm sensitive, really, because I said to him, just think if no one was sensitive in the world and no one actually, like was upset that people had gone, there'd be no like love in the world, would there? Do you know what I mean? There'd be no compassion in the world. It would just be, well, that happens. And it'd be so cold and kind of callous, wouldn't it, really? Do you know what I mean? You need, like, people who are sensitive like me. I like it. Some people don't like being sensitive. Some people criticize sensitive people, but I think it's good. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am a sensitive girl, but I'd rather be sensitive than someone who's heartless, unempathetic, unsympathetic, and just, like, treats everything like an army exercise. Do you know what I mean? That's not who I am. And being, obviously being sensitive and sympathetic and empathetic can be quite hard as a person, because it can make you, I guess, more, um, it can be hard for like someone like me or whoever's got those traits, because you feel others' pain, and that can make you have more pain yourself. So that's not a good thing in one sense, but it can make you really feel other people's emotions, and it can enable you to help them a lot. So one of my friends who came to the meetup, Sam, he said, I love the fact that you cater for people with mental health difficulties at your meetups. You always like to look after everyone and make sure everyone's special needs are catered for. And he said, I really like that about your meetups. And because I'm sensitive and empathetic and caring and sympathetic, that I'm able to do that. Some people at asexual meetups, some of the other organisers, they haven't got sympathy or empathy. They don't understand mental health problems, and they're just like, not, don't even really bother with the person. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not good. So yeah, I mean, I attract people to my meetups who have got mental health problems, but I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can give people a life and friendship they wouldn't usually have. Sam's like, my mental health has improved so much because I actually got genuine friends now. He's got asexual friends. A lot of us end up being friends all together, and I think that's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And it's so nice. I mean, I've loved every minute of being around asexuals, because I really feel relaxed and calm around them. Like I can really be myself. Like I'm at one with my soul, and I feel so relaxed and happy. And it's just really nice to be able to have someone to relate to, and then relate to me, and it just feels so good. Yeah, Heather, it is like family. Yeah, it really is. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. and we all get on, and it's just really good. It's very comfortable, and I just feel really relaxed, and I can feel my breathing's normal. Whereas when I'm like busy doing lots of other like because I was made redundant last year, like that is quite tough. Because I'm not having proper employed work at the moment, so that can be quite hard. And you can get a bit panicky when you're out of your comfort zone, and when you're doing, when you don't know exactly where, like, your next full time income's going to come from, really. It can make you feel a bit panicky and a bit like short of breath if you're an anxious person. And so, but when I'm with asexuals, I don't really worry about things. I just, you know, feel for them. They feel for me. I just it's like I can really relax, and my breathing I noticed is really normal. Whereas some of the other time I feel like I'm not really breathing. I feel like I'm holding my breath, if you understand what I mean. And I do still have some anxiety, so obviously that can most likely, well, it is really to do with anxiety. So, but I mean, some anxiety is natural, I mean, I think anyone who's been in a job 5 years and all of a sudden they're not in it anymore, that's going to be a bit anxiety inducing for anyone. Do you know what I mean? Especially in the UK. At the moment, there's on average 14 shops in the UK, retail shops like that, bricks and mortar shops we're talking about, closing. That's every single day. Thousands of people are being made redundant at the moment from throughout the UK. So I've known retail and been trained in retail since I've left college. So that's my primary speciality. So that's really, really tough. Um, so yeah, you just got to keep smiling, stay positive, and look at things as opportunities. That's what I do. I just look at this as a whole opportunity to learn, grow, develop myself, and to do other things. So yeah. Anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to share this with a friend or someone who may benefit with it, please do. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am going to go and get some sleep. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button now. Hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I post a new video or go live like now. And like I said, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Good night, Michael. And night, Heather. Thanks so much for tuning in. And thanks for the thumbs up. That's really nice of you. Thank you. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Take care. Night, Heather. Night, Michael. Thanks for the thumbs up. Bye.